You know, I always forget to do something. And this time I forgot to turn the lights on. There we go. Lights are on. There you go. Lights are on. Oh, Holy Thursday. Here we are. Tonight begins the Triduum, the 3 days. Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday. And then, of course, Saturday evening is the Easter Vigil, begins Easter. So we're right there. And this is my last, daily reflection. Okay. I forgot to count. Let's see. No, I don't want to use this. I forgot to count the number that I've done. I could use my calendar, I suppose, right? Yeah, I could use my calendar. But okay, so put that away. Bring this up here. Yeah, we're gonna oh no, there we go. It's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, so I'm looking at my channel and let me look at all my videos. There's 5 in a row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, that's 45. And then there was the very first one, so that's 46. Right? And then the preview would be 47. 47. How about that? So that's what I've done so far. Today's the 47th. How about that? Then we get to be together. So let's go ahead and dive into the reading. It's long, but when I was thinking about it today, it gave me some things to think about. A couple of things, anyway. So let's just go to the first one here. Where are you? Okay, so is that today? That's not today. So let's pull up today. That was yesterday. Today's the 14th. And we'll pull up evening mass. There we go. And we'll close this and we'll get to it. Okay, here we go. This is the first evening of a lot of work, a lot of readings. And here we are. We're at John 13. Okay, here we go. Before the feast of Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to pass from this world to the Father. He loved his own in the world, and he loved them to the end. The devil had already induced Judas, son of Simon the Iscariot, to hand him over. So, during supper, fully aware, now this is where I started keying in, fully aware that the Father had put everything into his power and that he had come from God and was returning to God, he rose from supper and took off his outer garments. Keep that in mind. He took a towel and tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and dry them with the towel around his waist. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, Master, are you going to wash my feet? Jesus answered and said to him, What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will understand later. Peter said to him, You will never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, Unless I wash you, you will have no inheritance with me. Simon Peter said to him, Master, then not only my feet, but my hands and head as well. Jesus said to him, Whoever has bathed has no need except to have his feet washed, for he is clean all over. So you are clean, but not all. For he knew who would betray him. For this reason, he said, not all of you are clean. So when he had washed their feet and put his garments back on and reclined at table again, he said to them, do you realize what I have done for you? You call me teacher and master, and rightly so, for indeed I am. If I, therefore, the master and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. I have given you a model to follow, so that as I have done for you, you should also do. Tonight is the Mass of the Last Supper. And part of the Mass, part of the liturgy, includes the washing of feet. Washing of feet's a big thing. I mean, but that's not what Jesus is talking about. Jesus is not actually talking about washing people's feet. This is a model for following, and it's for service, right? If I, the master, wash each other's feet, and now whose responsibility was it to wash someone's feet? So here's the thing. Back in those days, they wore sandals, and there was no real pavement. They walked around, their feet got dirty. And so that they needed to have their feet cleaned often. Whose job was that? That was the job of the slave or the servant. And so that's why, when Peter said, oh, no, you're not going to wash my feet, Jesus was putting himself below his disciples, which is not how things are done, right? The master's always over the disciples. Here he's placing himself under with, and Peter was unwilling to let him do it. So that's the first thing. As a disciple, when you have a teacher, you let them do things, even if you don't understand it. Peter could not understand why his teacher would debase himself. That's the nature of Christ. He didn't understand the very nature of Christ. But check this out. At the beginning, fully aware that the Father had put everything into his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God, he rose from supper and took off his outer garments and put on the towel. It's almost like, since he knew exactly who he is and was, he therefore washed his disciples' feet. This is the model for all of his followers. And it's a model that was soon forgotten. I remember reading in the book of Acts, and I'd never read it this way before. After Pentecost, it says that there were 3,000 souls added to the church. So that's a lot, right? And they're from all over the known world at the time. And there was a dispute that arose. The Hellenistic group, people, the Greeks, who had adopted Judaism, felt like their widows were being overlooked when it came to the dispensing of food. And they went to the apostles about it. And Peter said, in essence, don't bother me. I have more important things to do. Choose 7 men among you. And so that's, the first deacons. But listen to Peter. I'm too busy doing these other things. I can't take the time to deal with this. I wonder how Jesus would have responded to that. It definitely was a teaching moment, but Jesus always said he came to serve, not to be served. And I think that model, that lesson was lost right away. And it's been a difficult one for the church to regain. I think that there are people throughout the centuries and millennia who actually have embraced that servant demeanor, that slave demeanor. You know, I think it's one of the differences between Peter and Paul. I think St. Paul was able to adopt that demeanor to a greater degree, anyway. But that's the lesson of this foot washing thing. That's the lesson. The lesson is, no matter who you are, and even if you're the greatest, you are to serve one another. And it doesn't mean foot washing. It means in everything. That's the model. And so for me, sometimes I feel like, I'm fairly well read. I'm taking additional courses. I often have more information than other people about things, or more experience about things. And I know that in times past, and maybe not in the even very distant past, but recently, I often will assume an air of authority. And so for me right now, from this reading, I'm going to make an effort to pay more attention to not doing that. So that's what I get out of today's reading. Now, I don't know what the rest of this time is going to be like. I don't know if I'm going to do reflections for tomorrow. Tomorrow is Good Friday. It's the Passion. And I may. It depends on my energy level. It's going to be a big day. The morning starts off with morning prayer at 9. Then there's a bit of a break. And then we come back together for the Good Passion, the Good Friday service, which begins around noon. My call time will probably be 11 or maybe even earlier. I don't know. We'll see. So it's going to be a big morning. I may be wasted in the afternoon. I don't know. Today fulfills my commitment to myself. And then going forward, I was thinking about maybe doing Sunday reflections. Reflections can be not only on gospel readings, but just on anything. I can reflect on a chapter of a book I'm reading or a passage that I'm reading. I can reflect on current events, So who knows? So who knows what the future is going to be bringing? But that's the way it is anyway, right? Well, thank you to all who have joined me for this live broadcast. And thank you for all those who have joined via the recording. It's been a fun journey. What did I count? 47 episodes? It's pretty wild, right? So I have the rest of the day off to prepare for tomorrow and for the next 3 days, actually. So it's a rainy day here in Sacramento. Not too cold, but it's chilly. Rainy and chilly. Chilly, rainy. So thank you again. It's been fun, and I'll see you again. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to try to do it on a regular basis. Maybe, well, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So until we meet again, this is going to say see you tomorrow, but it's not the way it's going to work out. You be happy, healthy, and safe. And God bless.